I want to, you mentioned single. I want to ask you a little bit about the other form of relationship, which is romantic love. So your parents are still married?
Still married, still happily married.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
A rare thing nowadays.
Yeah.
So you grew up with that example.
Yeah, I guess that's a powerful thing, right? If there's an example that I think can work.
Yeah, I didn't have that in my own family, but when I see it, it's inspiring and it's beautiful. The fact that they have that and that was the norm for you, I think is really wonderful.
Well, it was in the case of my parents, it was interesting to watch because there's obviously tension. Like there would be times where they fought and all those kinds of things. They obviously get frustrated with each other, and but they find mechanisms how to communicate that to each other, like to make fun of each other a little bit, like to tease, to get some of that frustration out, and then ultimately to reunite and to find their joyful moments and be that the energy. And I think it's clear because they got together in their, I think, early 20s, like very, very young. I think you grow together as people.
Yeah, you're still in the critical period of brain plasticity.
And also, I mean, it's just like divorce was so frowned upon that you stick it out. And I think a lot of couples, especially from that time in the Soviet Union, that's probably applies to a lot of cultures. You stick it out and you put in the work. You learn how to put in the work. And once you do, you start to get to some of those rewarding aspects of being like through time, sharing so many moments together. You know, that's definitely something that that was an inspiration to me. But maybe that's where I have a similar kind of longing to have a lifelong partner, like that, have that kind of view, where same with friendship, lifelong friendship is the most meaningful kind, that there's something with that time of sharing all that time together, like till death do us part, is a powerful thing, not by force, not because the religion said it or the government said it or your culture said it, but because you want to.
Do you want children?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely want children. It's
how many Roombas do you have?
Oh, I thought
you should
human children.
No, human children.
Because I already have the children.
Exactly. Well, I was saying you probably need at least as many human children as you do Roombas. Big family, small family.
So
in your mind's eye, is there are there a bunch of Fridmans running around?
So I'll tell you, like realistically, I can explain exactly my thinking, and this is similar to the robotics work. Is if I'm like purely logical right now, my answer would be I don't want kids because I just don't have enough time. I have so much going on. But when I'm using the same kind of vision I use for the robots, is I know my life will be transformed with the first. Like I know I would love being a father. And so the question of how many, that's on the other side of that hill. It could be some ridiculous number. So I just know that
I have a feeling, and I don't have a crystal ball, but I don't know. I see in upwards of certainly 3 or more comes to mind.
So much of that has to do with the partner you're with too. So like that's such an open question, especially in this society, of what the right partnership is. Because I'm deeply empathetic. I want to see, like, to me, what I look for in a relationship is for me to be really excited about the passions of another person, like whatever they're into. It doesn't have to be career success, any kind of success, just to be excited for them and for them to be excited for me, and like sharing that excitement and build. But there's also practical aspects of like, what kind of shit do you enjoy doing together? And I think family is a real serious undertaking.
Oh, it certainly is. I mean, I think that I have a friend who said it, I think, best, which is that you first have, he's in a very successful relationship and has a family, and he said you first have to define the role, and then you have to cast the right person for the role.
Well, yeah, there's some deep aspect to that, but there's also an aspect to which you're not smart enough from this side of it to define the right, to define the role. There's part of it that has to be a leap that you have to take, and I see I see having kids that way. You just have to go with it and figure it out. Also, as long as there's love there, like what the hell, is life for even? So I've there's so many incredibly successful people that I know, that I've gotten to know, that all have kids, and the presence of kids, for the most part, has only been something that energized them, something that gave them meaning, something that made them the best version of themselves, like made them more productive, not less, which is fascinating to me.
It is fascinating. I mean, you can imagine if the way that you felt about Homer, the way that I feel and felt about Costello is at all a glimpse of what that must be like, then
Exactly.
you know.
The downside, the thing I worry more about is the partner side of that. I've seen the kids are almost universally a source of increased productivity and joy and happiness. They're a pain in the ass. Yeah, it's complicated. Yeah, so on and so forth. People like to complain about kids, but when you actually look past that little shallow layer of complaint, kids are great. The source of pain for a lot of people is when the relationship doesn't work. And so I'm very kind of concerned about, dating is very difficult, and I'm a complicated person, and so it's been very difficult to find the right kind of person. But that statement doesn't even make sense, because I'm not on dating apps. I don't see people. You're like the first person I saw in a while. It's like you, Michael Malice, and like Joe. So I don't think I've seen a female, an element of the female species in quite a while. So I think you have to put yourself out there. Daniel Johnston says true love will find you, but only if you're looking. So there's some element of really taking the leap and putting yourself out there in kind of different situations. And I don't know how to do that when you're behind a computer all the time.
Well, you're a builder, and you're a problem solver, and you find solutions, and I'm confident the solution is out there. And
I think you're implying that I'm going to build the girlfriend, which I think,
and maybe we shouldn't separate this friendship, the notion of friendship and community, and if we go back to this concept of the aggregate, maybe you'll meet this woman through a friend, or maybe or something of that sort.
So one of the things, I don't know if you feel the same way. I definitely one of those people that just falls in love, and that's it.
Yeah, I can't say I'm like that. With Costello, it was instantaneous.
Yeah,
it really was. I mean, I know it's not romantic love, but it was instantaneous. No, but that's me, and I think that if you know, because that's a good thing that you have that.
Well, I'm very careful with that, because you don't want to fall in love with the wrong person. So I try to be very kind of careful with. I've noticed this, because I fall in love with everything, like this mug, everything. I fall in love with things in this world. So you have to be really careful, because a girl comes up to you and says she loves Dostoevsky. That doesn't necessarily mean you to marry her tonight. Okay?
Yes, and I like the way you said that out loud so that you heard it. It doesn't mean you need to marry her tonight. Right.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
But people are amazing, and people are beautiful, and that's so I'm fully embrace that. But I also have to be careful with relationships, and at the same time, like I mentioned to you offline, I don't. There's something about me that appreciates swinging for the fences and not dating, like doing serial dating or dating around.
Yeah, you're a one guy, one girl kind of guy.
Yeah,
you've said that,
and it's tricky, because you want to be careful with that kind of stuff. Especially now, there's a growing platform that have a ridiculous amount of female interest of a certain kind, but I'm looking for deep connection, and I'm looking by sitting home alone, and every once in a while talking to Stanford professors.
Perfect solution.
On a podcast.
Perfect solution.
It's gonna work out great.
It's well incorporated. It's part of that constitutes machine learning of sorts.
Yeah, of sorts.